Today, we will talk about heavy metal, which is the origin of a side of rock you all know, metal. However, metal did evolve since its creation in the UK in the 70s. Its first form was called heavy metal. If heavy metal has been developed in parallel of hard rock, these two names aren't synonyms. Hard rock is influenced by garage rock. You have to notice that some bands are heavy metal and hard rock bands. We'll see it later. At time, in the 70s, Black Sabbath starts playing a psychedelic blues rock. Guitarist Tony Iommi's riffs are heavy and dark, and these songs are qualified of heavy blues rock. The band is now a reference, and is considered the precursor of the style, even if later some people will say, "But this guitar in this band was heavy metal below Sabbath." Yes, but this band who experimented some things haven't produced entire albums of heavy metal, unlike Black Sabbath. As examples, Beatles' song Helter Skelter's hard rock and heavy metal proto-sound, and in 1969 King Crimson, prog band that will indeed experiment some sounds on guitar. But these are isolated cases. In the 70s has also a bluesy sound, as you can hear in Judas Priest's first albums, and in the 80s heavy metal enters finally in its second era. The new wave of heavy metal will stand out these blues sounds, and metal will grow globally as a new and free style, ready to inspire by itself new styles. It will also be in the 80s followed by progressive metal, extreme metal, fusion metal, including glam metal, funk metal, industrial metal, and symphonic metal, speed metal, and many other styles I will try to analyze to make everything clear in your mind. One step at a time, let's talk about the first heavy metal bands, with at first one of my favorite bands. Black Sabbath started in 1968 with singer Ozzy Osbourne, guitarist Tony Iommi, bass guitarist Geezer Butler, and drummer Bill Ward. The lineup produces the famous album Black Sabbath in 1970. The eponymous album is really dark, both by music as the lyrics, and contains the song Black Sabbath, built around 3-tone interval, a key range associated to the devil in the Middle Age. This album is very good, and the band releases Paranoid during the same year, with hits like War Pigs, Iron Man, and Paranoid, composed in the end because the album wasn't complete, and that is fearsomely effective. It's the star song of the band. Planet Caravan is a special ballad, with Ozzy Osbourne's voice altered by echo, guitar is melancholic, and drum delicate. Black Sabbath continued to play its heavy blues rock with an album considered as proto-stoner, album Master of Reality in 1971. Stoner, we'll see it later, is a style in which guitars are very low, because low tuned, to give a heavier sound. That's also what Tony Iommi did. The band releases in 1973 its fifth album, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and true to the band's style, melodies are even worked there. We can notice the presence of keyboards since the fourth album. It's Rick Wakeman from prog band Yes who contributed to these keyboard parts. By the way, his son Adam Wakeman is currently keyboardist of Ozzy Osbourne's solo career. In 1978, the 8th album of the band is released, and it's the last with Ozzy Osbourne for 35 years. The singer is ousted, and we'll talk about it in the upcoming video about new wave of heavy metal. Ozzy Osbourne knew the success in the 80s with guitarist Randy Rhoads in his new solo career. In 1980, Ronnie James Dio from Rainbow and Elf bands joins Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward. Ninth album of Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, is the back of success with songs like Neon Nights and, of course, Heaven and Hell. In 1981, drummer Bill Ward quits the band and is replaced by Vinnie Appice. The band releases Black Sabbath's 10th album, Mob Rules, with the classic Voodoo. In 1982, Ronnie James Dio quits Black Sabbath with drummer Vinny Appice to create Dio, solo project of the singer, giving free to power metal initiated by Dio in Rainbow. Black Sabbath now from 1983 an unstable era with an album with Deep Purple singer Ian Gillan. As I already said, Born Again has been qualified of Deep Sabbath or Black Purple. But that's an interesting album. The lineup changes many times during the years after the quit of Ian Gillan. 7 albums are released and the only member that is always here is guitarist Tony Iommi. Ozzy Osbourne and Bill Wan are back in the band from 1997 to 2005 after the release of live album Reunion. Result of this reunion, no albums but 2 songs, Psycho Man, reference to Paranoid, and Selling My Soul. In 2006, Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler decide to play again with Dio and Appice, like in the time of Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules and Dehumanizer. But Black Sabbath, even if it isn't active, still exists. You have to know that Dio and Osbourne have always been rebels, because they are the 2 main singers of Black Sabbath. The 4 musicians create a new band called Heaven and Hell. But this is Black Sabbath that they play. They released in 2009 a very good album, The Devil You Know, the last album of Dio, who dies of a cancer the next year. It's the end of the band. Black Sabbath also reformed with its first lineup. It releases in 2013 the album 14, but without its drummer, replaced by Rage Against the Machine's drummer Brad Wilk. The band is currently working on its 20th and final album. Then Black Sabbath will probably be in tour, and then it will be the end of the legend. Judas Priest was formed in 1969, but it's in 1974 that its main members joined the band. Charismatic singer Rob Halford, guitarists Glenn Tipton and KK Downing, and bass guitarist Ian Hill. Drums will change a lot of time, but since 1989, Judas Priest drummer is Scott Travis. The band provided many things to heavy metal, including lead guitar duos. At times, when there was 2 guitars, you had lead and rhythm guitar. Scorpions, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. But in Judas Priest, the 2 guitars are very free, as in Iron Maiden, that has currently 3 guitarists. Moreover, Judas Priest's biker style, leather and nails, inspired many bands. In the beginning of some shows, we can see Rob Halford enter on a motorbike. To quickly talk about the band's cult albums, there's firstly Rocka Rolla in 1974 with its bluesy and energetic sound. Hellbent for Leather in 1978 contains great hits like Hellbent Forever, and in 1980 is British Steel released, one of his hits album I often talk. Breaking the Law, Living After Midnight, Metal Gods, and United are so many classics of the bands on this album. In 1982 is the band's 8th album released, Screaming for Vengeance, and in 1990 it's the pinnacle with Painkiller, another hit album. Painkiller, Hell Patrol, Leverable, A Touch of Evil, One Shot at Glory. It's a term for the band that separates from Rob Halford, who will start a solo career. It's funny all parallels we can do between Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. Bruce Dickinson, frontman of the band, starts a solo career in the 90s. In the beginning of the millennium, it's a thing we see in a lot of rock bands. The band takes back its original lineup, for Black Sabbath as an example, or, other case, the frontman is back in the band and the success is back too, like in Maiden or Judas Priest. Rob Halford is also back in 2003, and the band's 15th album, Angel of Retribution, is released. It will be in 2008, followed by the concept album Nostradamus, in which Judas Priest experiments progressive metal. In 2011, the band starts a farewell tour for its guitarist KK Downing, replaced by Richie Faulkner. The new lineup released Redeemer of Souls in 2014 and approaches from the 50 years of career. It's the end of this video about heavy metal. As you can see, Black Sabbath is an influence in metal, and we'll talk more precisely of this band later. Subscribe and share the video if you liked it.